Good afternoon. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you to yet another edition of BW Dialogue. Today we are discussing something that has been topical. It's been in the vogue, so to say, and mindsets are being changed, opinions are being formed, and hopefully new, broader, inclusive, liberal, right mindsets are being formed. So today we are discussing, do consumers really care about the fairness agenda? And again, it has very strong views from different sectors. And give us your opening comments.
First of all, thank you for having me on this show. I'm really privileged to be amongst such interesting panelists, and there's experience and very wide breadth of experience is going to give a lot of insight onto this. And so, I'm coming to the question, why do we need this insight anyway? It's interesting because up until now, it's just my personal opinion. When it comes to various opinions around this whole anti-fairness movement that started, anti-lightning, anti-whitening, it's a lot of people in the position of having their opinion, reach out there. And so we kind of tend to hear a lot of people who have their own personal opinion on this. I think it becomes also relevant whether or not the consumer, how the consumer is perceiving this. Some of the panelists here, we come in regular contact with consumers. And so, in a country like India, where the diversity is so much, there's so many skin tones, and it's all natural, it comes very naturally to us. India is one of the most ethnically diverse country in the whole world. We have more cultures and traditions and skin tones than any other country in the whole world. So we are uniquely positioned to have a conversation on, what consumers perceive this whole anti-fairness agenda to be, and whether or not, how deeply that affects them. It's one thing to say that we are, all fairness products are bad and all lightning products are bad and whitening products are bad. And there's a valid point behind that. But what do we see consumers feeling about it? Do they feel threatened when they use a lightning product or a whitening product? Do they feel that they're somehow taking their self-image, self-esteem away? Or do they really want it for some other agenda, which we're not able to figure out? I think from the company's point of view, from a startup's point of view, somebody who's been in this space, my science background, where I've done a lot of research on not just skin, skin science, cellular dermatology, melanocytes that give us skin pigment, but also having started a brand, I feel like I can maybe sort of address some of those issues over there. And I'll be also very interested to hear what everybody else has to say.
Okay, Karan. Archana, you work with a lot of brands, traditionally over the last few decades. Do brands, so to say, understand the new wave, and are they changing gears, or some still believe that this doesn't matter?
No, I believe that, firstly, the whole definition of beauty has evolved, right? Today, whether you're an FMCG beauty brand or you're a luxury beauty brand or in whatever prestige category you may be, I think companies are beginning to realize that beauty is a reflection of values, right? It's an inclusive world where, we are all beautiful, and brands have to embrace be who you are and celebrate individual beauty. We've seen campaigns from Dove, etc., come many, many years ago, right, on this. So if the old adage was beauty is in the eye of the beholden, then who are you, me, or even brands to judge what is beauty, right? So each one of us is beautiful. And I think brands have recognized this, thank God for that, to celebrate color, hair types, shapes, sizes, everything. We've seen that with some of our brands that we represent, both at the top end and at the sort of FMCG sort of level, where they've actually come up with a whole range of products to suit different skin tones. So for example, a lip color that doesn't really do well with somebody with a sort of a darker shade. Of course, those weren't available earlier. Or the foundations were available in absolutely just singular sort of tones. So that has expanded. And that's how I think, brands are embracing this change that society is demanding. Society is demanding inclusivity. It is protesting for it. It is actually using social media to shame beauty gatekeepers. So, I mean, if
You
brands don't
believe the
recognize
narrative and the tonality is changing. What we are discussing is changing. We still have a long way to go, in my view. But I guess we started a conversation, and it will have an impact, because what is discussed in mainstream media, what brands do through subliminal messaging, and what bloggers write, all that makes a kind of an impact on a young teenager or a young adult in terms of how he or she think about fairness and beauty and skin color. Your opening comments on, do consumers really care about fairness and this fairness agenda, and are the conversations changing, and are they having impact?
What I have found is as a, I treat skin, right? So that's my field. I do find that people still ask for fairness. Men ask a lot for fairness, not just women. A lot of women are very concerned about their children being dark. I mean, I have gotten DMs from women saying that, their child is 18 months and their body is tanned and what to do. So while I understand that, and I've heard, and I really appreciated Archana's perspective, which was that brands are making an effort. I wonder about society in itself. What is the internal communication that we have with our children, with our family members, and how do we work on that? Because I think that is where it really all begins. I mean, I when I was a kid, by the way, I was dark, actually. I was extremely dark, and I still remember my family. Not my mom didn't, but I know my grandmother did.
Has in the last 3-4 months, 6 months, has there been a significant change, or it's still a long way to go?
Still a long way to go. I genuinely have not seen any change.
Okay. Shraddha, I hope we can hear you. No, we still can't hear you. Karan, you heard Dr. Sethi, you heard Archana. What are your comments on what they said?
I think I'm very happy that Dr. Kiran shed a very genuine light on the issue. She's described, that her patients and her customers that come in, they are genuinely asking for fairness products and how to lighten skin. I think it goes back to the colonial mindset. For thousands of years, we've had that, perspective being narrated and, badgered into the Indian mindset that somehow if you're whiter or you're lighter, that you are more noble, that you have more opportunities, you're in general more attractive. I don't think that existed before this, because India was a very inclusive country. And I think in many ways it still is. Even if you look at just the images of our gods, some of the, Mahanaris and Mahapurushas that we have, the sages of the old times, we see that, Krishna, for instance, is depicted in blue, and he's celebrated. So, and the blue color, because, he's perhaps a darker skin tone individual. And he celebrated, so what we respected was not really skin color. What we respected was what the person stood for, who the person was, how they conducted themselves, and what it was that they gave out to the world. I think it's important for us to go back to that root. It's very important. But, I have to give some slack to some of the people in society. Right, sorry. Some people in society who still have this whole idea of fairness in their mind. I personally believe that they are more interested in getting clear skin and getting an even skin tone than necessarily getting whiter or lighter skin. I do agree that some of that still exists in this country. People still have this idea that you have to be Gora and something. But I think that's changing. It's changing with the educational, intensity. It's changing in various segments of society, and it's going to percolate down. But I think when I just look at some of the data out there, and if we just do our own search on data, let's say if we just take the term fairness, and we did this, a long time back, and also when this whole pandemic started, we saw that the demand for the term fairness was as it is going down. Even before this whole conversation about Black Lives Matter, and even before this whole conversation about fairness started kicking in. And that's because people fundamentally realize that the term fairness doesn't really resonate with what they want anymore. Maybe it happened sometime back, but it doesn't really resonate now. And I think the underlying term that I would use to define what people really want now is natural. They want to be natural. They want to be authentic. They want to be real. And every skin tone, I mean, there was a study that said that, world over, skin tones are going towards brown. So, you find people who are white skinned who want to get tanned and they want to get a little more brown. And then you've got, really dark skin that who, if they move to an area like, say, New York or any other country where there's not a lot of sunlight, that their skin tone naturally goes towards the brown skin because they don't need that much pigment to protect themselves against the sun. So the whole world is going brown. So the point is that people appreciate color. They really do. And they like the diversity. It's just that many consumers are disillusioned that it's not necessarily fairness what they want. It's not necessarily whitening that they want. It's not necessarily lightening that they want. What they really want is clear skin, even toned skin, and that's bright. And brightness is a term that can be construed either which ways. But honestly, brightness is about alleviating dullness. It's not about changing your skin tone. It's about just making sure that you glow with a certain sort of, you look healthy. And there are different scientific aspects that describe health.
Right?
Radiance. Now,
radiance. Yes.
Yes, I think radiance. And it's all about how the skin, and we can go into the technical part a little later, but it's all about how the skin permeates, how the light permeates the skin, how it diffuses out. And so that is a sign of good health. Everybody wants good health. Everybody wants to be natural. I think that's where the key is. Beauty companies need to start focusing on trying to promote naturalness, trying to promote inclusivity by being natural. Be who you are,
Absolutely. And if I may just add to his point, brands have a moral responsibility, right? If they're not going to foster progressive attitudes, then who will? It's not to say, Fair and Lovely had a 70% market share, if I'm not wrong. And now that's not going to go away. But who is this attitude has been actually festered by brands like them that have gone into advertise extensively, made consumers want to say, okay, your skin's going to go from this shade to this shade in the course of 4 weeks. Consumers have been fed on that, and that has to change. And that is, I think, so this move is in a really good shape today to move out and see that, it's got to be who you are. Let's look at radiance. Let's look at even skin tones. So it's not going to be just change in verbiage, but also product benefits that will have to start reflecting.
They have to be in sync. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Very important point you made, that brands have in some way, knowingly or unknowingly, propagated this desire to be fair over the last 30, 40 years. And that has contributed to people having a certain kind of mindset, young adults having a certain kind of mindsets. Shraddha, if we can hear you.
Can you?
Yes.
Yes.
Finally. All right. Yeah.
So Shraddha, your opening comments on why is this conversation needed and how are the mindsets changing? And in 2-3 years, maybe we don't need an advertising about any kind of fairness creed, whatever label you want to put.
I'd go back to the point I'd actually started saying back then. When bloggers came into the picture, content creators, influencers, bloggers, any kind of creator at any point in time, when we came into picture, the whole reason that the whole, the wave of bloggers and creators that came into place and that gained that kind of popularity that it has today is because people kind of identified with, different individuals, and they saw that, hey, you know what, probably my skin tone is something that's really out there and it's like promoted and it's busted out in ads, but they don't see many other deeper skin tones that actually kind of resonate with how they look like, how they feel about their skin. And bringing content creators into the picture, that gave people an outlet to realize that, hey, you know what, there are more people like me, and it's absolutely okay. I mean, in India, if you expect someone to be as fair as I am, that's actually an unrealistic expectation. It's a very different genetic composition that I have, right? So this conversation has been long overdue, and I would like to agree with Kiran's point where she said that we're very furious and we want change now, and that doesn't happen. It's not change. It's not real change if it's just happening in a second because one person posted an angry tweet. So I'm just saying that before we lash out on brands, before we lash out on other people, we have to make sure about our own. We have to be very clear about our own vocabulary. We have to be clear about what we're saying in our personal conversations and what we're saying online, especially as creators. So I think that's where I stand right now. I want to be one of those persons who is responsible for initiating the change by changing my own values, by being even more mindful, even more careful about the things that I'm talking about and the brands that I'm interacting with. But whatever little interactions I've had till now with a few brands that I've been working with, I have been asking them these questions. I was like, as creators, we also expect transparency. So where are you guys? And every single person is working on it. I know it's been a long pushed narrative that has been around and it's going to take a while, but I think communication has been our strongest sword. And with creators in the picture, with more, hey, she looks like me kind of people, I think that's what the need of the hour is right now. And that's the most healthy way to move forward.
And Shraddha, I know predominantly your followers are young girls or young adults, but I want to ask Dr. Sethi and you, do you think men also care about their, color tone? Give us some anecdotes, some story where men, I've never cared.
Go first.
I've always thought I'm going to go where my parents.
You've got good skin.
It doesn't matter.
My dad thinks he looks amazing, and he looks like, a big Sardarji chubby man. So I don't know. I think it's great.
Yeah, but on a very serious note, in conversations, have boys or men reached out and have had the same kind of concern that girls or women had? I'm just curious about that.
I mean, with my brother, so he's my cousin, not my sibling. So there's always been a very stark difference between the way we looked. And ever since we were young, I've heard these conversations. I've heard like, oh, but you don't look like her brother and this and that. And while we think that these things don't affect people, they do. And I've seen men around me ask me, hey, you do this. Can you tell me if there's like a way to get fairer skin? So that is a very big narrative that does go around. It's just that the conversation around women is pushed so much, even along with the discrimination.
The expectations from women traditionally have been different. And hope, in my view, wrongly, but so I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Dr. Sethi,
so men do face the same issues? Yeah.
Okay. Maybe they don't articulate it that much, and maybe they're a little shy about discussing those. Dr. Sethi, give us, you said much hasn't changed and there is a long way to go. Now, why do you say that much hasn't been changed? Brands have been trying to change their communication plan, and as Archana rightly said, also the benefits that the brand or product offers. So tell us, is there or we shouldn't category at all? Why do we need the category? is there anything good about having a fairness cream, whatever you want to call it?
So, what I will say, you asked me in the past few months, has it changed? I don't know. Has it changed over some years? I actually think it has, in many ways. You know, remember when Lakshmi Menon did those wonderful ads? We had those beautiful, just such inclusive imagery all over top luxury brands. They were so striking, and I think Lakshmi actually did a really good job in starting to change a lot of the conversation around color, or Hermes and Lakshmi. But what I feel is, and what I've experienced, I can only tell you my own personal experience and the kind of messages I get and the people that I meet, is men are concerned. Yes, I agreed with Karan when he said, you know, there is now maybe a shift towards a conversation towards uneven skin tone. People are just like, well, actually I was born with one color skin and now other parts of me are a different color. I don't understand why that is. So that is a conversation. Also, patchiness is a conversation. I also really enjoyed Archana's perspective, which was interesting, which is that brands are actually leading a lot of this conversation. But it's an interplay, you know? Yes, brands have the capability of creating a demand for something. That is what brands do. But brands also are very good at identifying a demand for something as well. So there is the thing that I'm trying to get at is there's an endemic desire towards this that a lot of people have. They may not express it. It still exists. Are we becoming more inclusive? Shraddha's absolutely correct. Yes, you know, different people have different looks. Absolutely. But there is still a lot of people that want to look a specific way. And that again has entirely to do with, as Archana said, self-acceptance. You know, a lot of things are going to be towards self-acceptance, self-love, but then brands might face a difficult issue there because if everything is, you know, and I will tell you the dilemma that people ask me, they're like, you know, if you, as a derm, I will tell people, you know, you should love your skin color, love what you are, appreciate what you are. And they'll say, well, then where do you come in? You know, if I'm supposed to love everything about myself.
Then why do we need you? Why do we need to have this? Why do we need that profession?
Why do I need you? Why do I need that fancy cream? Why do I need this? Then, you know, I should love my pimples. I should love my marks. I should love them. So the question is, where's that line? And that's a line I think probably we all will have to identify for ourselves.
That's very interesting. I'd want to comment on that, but
the role of brand in communication is either bringing down these stereotypes or kind of fanning these stereotypes. Do you see brands making a big change? And if yes, what would those changes be? And will they create new categories and also eliminate some categories of products that exist just now? Archana?
No, absolutely. There's already, if you've seen now during in COVID times and even before that, there's been a lot of products that are more talking about even tones and radiance already. It's not that isn't there. Like I was talking earlier to Karan before we started, we would, you know, there was a time when we were representing a few years ago a couple of brands, and they came to us and say, here are two sort of whitening products. And we said, why are you introducing whitening products? They said, well, that's the biggest market segment. So we said, okay, you know, fine, but I don't think that's going to be progressive. It's not going to be something that will build brand image. And if we are going to
differentiation,
absolutely. And I said, as your PR consultants, we need to warn you that when we go out to the market with this product, we might get some hate. We might not get full acceptance. And more importantly, I don't foresee the top influencers and the top editors actually endorsing it. And you know, we got a lot of pushback. Then we finally actually made them sit together on the table with these people, and then they understood, yes, that's not something that the market, you know, as a progressive company, you need to push. So that process has started over 3 or 4 years, and you're seeing that. You know, campaigns, as Kiran very rightly said, even in the fashion domain, now see very dark skin, you know, brides Archana Rao is one of them, and models on the catwalk, etc. So everybody's beginning to sort of say, yes, it is an inclusive world. We need to embrace everybody, and hence products to that nature are definitely coming out. The range of, let's say, if you were to open Nykaa right now and look at the range, let's say there'll be like 16 or 20 different shades of cover up from Smashbox, or the even tones from Estee Lauder would, the foundation tones would be 10 or 12. So the range is already expanded to suit different colors, because it's not about, fair doesn't equal beauty, right? So if be who you are, then, we need to provide them products that, beauty is all about giving you confidence, right? You put on a little bit of lipstick, you put on a kajal, you put on some creams to make your skin glow and look beautiful, not change your color.